Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome, guys, to today's episode of Market Check. A reminder, as always, that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Sometimes I just got to throw a little bit of a wrench into the intro to get y'all thinking a little bit more in the morning. But welcome. Welcome. Happy Tuesday, guys. I'm Snorlax. You also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Louie. We join you a day after some pretty crazy volatility for a Monday, right? Some pretty crazy volatility in the crypto market specifically, not over in equities where, you have NVIDIA down, I think, 10 to 12% over the last 3 or 4 sessions, but the S&P has not cared really a lick. So I did just kind of want to point that out because everybody who said NVIDIA pulling back would cause a significant amount of equity volatility, we're seeing that right now. But back to crypto, guys, because obviously, like I said, we did have quite a bit of volatility yesterday. Bitcoin traded below the range or into range low once again, and I think much more quickly than a lot of people probably planned. Altcoins kind of front ran the move more or less. Oh, we got Jackus in here. Nice. Welcome, Jackus. Altcoins more or less. It looks like they're trying to, or they tried to front run the move on Bitcoin, right? We saw some green in the altcoin market yesterday, despite the fact that Bitcoin was, we haven't really seen Bitcoin forcefully sell like that in quite some time. So to see alts hold up, given that, the face of the market kind of looking like that has to be something that is probably encouraging here, as altcoins have, more or less bled for the last few weeks and the last few months. So gonna be interested to see, right? Like we are at range lows for Bitcoin and to a lesser extent Ethereum. It's not really quite as clean of a range as it is for Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is at range lows. Contextually, this is where we should bounce. Contextually, this is where everything should bounce, or else we trade much lower prices. So we will cover that and more, kind of what we're thinking in regards to both Bitcoin and altcoins on this stream, guys, bringing you all the alpha that we possibly can. I just realized I didn't even ask you guys to hit the like button. We didn't ask you to hit the like button yesterday. We might be a little bit more pestery about it today. Who knows?
Do it.
I probably will, because we got Big Louie here today, Big Louie Tuesday. But if you guys could smash that like button for us, we always appreciate when you do that, and of course the channel loves it as well. It's a big day for crypto. I think a big few days for crypto, as like I said, we do trade into this range low as altcoins are attempting to bounce from kind of the equivalent level of that Bitcoin range low. So a very critical level for the markets. Meanwhile, over in equities, it's just kind of been par for the course, right? NVIDIA pulling back, but there's just so much strength in the overall tech sector that it hasn't really mattered that much for the NASDAQ as a whole. But I'm not going to be yapping too long to start the show, guys. I'm sure we all have quite a bit to say after the day that was yesterday. It was not, the typical Bitcoin move that we usually see to start the week. And hopefully it does kind of set the stage for a much larger trend here over the next few weeks. But welcome, guys. What are we seeing in the markets, and how are we digesting ultimately that sell-off that we had yesterday?
Back above 60K. That's all I'm gonna say. And that was the target. But granted, you got to hold, right? You got to hold. But I think being above 60K is a good feeling. It's a good place to be. And as long as we get a close up here on the weekly, I think ideally you'll probably see a bounce right back up into the higher ranges again. Just holding that range, that's the ideal thing.
Range low to range high, Will?
Range low to range high. That's all it's going to be. It's all it's been. I think, and here's the thing too. I think if you get the monthly close, because you got 4 consecutive months up here now, if you can get a monthly close above that failed shoulder, right, that everybody keeps talking about, then it's no longer a failed shoulder, right? It's no longer a lower high, and at that point, you've got a position to say that the market's going to start trending back up. You just need to get confirmation above that shoulder, specifically on that 4-month position. So I'd ideally probably wait till next month to see if we'll get that. I don't think it'll happen this month, but I do think that waiting till next month and seeing if we can get that would be a good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a big day. It's a big day, and as Barry Shilbert says, it's a big week. Uh, it's still Tuesday, right? Yesterday was a lot of forced selling, a lot of fear in the market. Um, it was definitely not comfortable to watch, but I also think that there's some pretty important charts that are contradicting a lot of the selling that we saw yesterday. Specifically, something like the ETH BTC pair. The ETH BTC pair is not indicating to me that the market, the market as a whole is about to sell off. And then you're seeing some of the stronger names that have been leading all cycle, like Pepe, for example, which is, in my opinion, I mean, it's going to make a run at that top spot for memes this cycle. Whether it gets there or not, it will be dependent on if Doge can kind of get on its horse. But a lot of these charts that have been leading the market and providing a tremendous amount of signal all cycle are not telling me that Bitcoin is actually going to nuke. I actually feel as though Bitcoin might be bluffing. I dropped a video on it yesterday. Maybe some of you are familiar with it. Red, purple, green. It's actually, I think it was actually purple, green, red. Purple, green, red. Yeah, study purple, green, red. If you guys saw that video, if you don't know what purple, green, red is, I don't know if we can be friends. You need to know what purple, green, red is. But it's a big inflection point in the market, because I would say, like, if we don't flip 62 with conviction, it kind of opens that door to retesting the lows again on Bitcoin, which wouldn't be the worst thing. But we did have a big wick to the downside. I don't want to get prematurely bullish here, but I mean, I'm bullish, like, I'm not expecting some, like, imminent nuke across the board. It's like, I understand the case for lower, like, I understand how the chart looks fully, like, it doesn't look comfortable. It's never comfortable at range low, but um I've also seen people. I follow a lot of derivatives traders, right? In the bear market, I like to get a little bit in the weeds. I'm not so into it in the bull market, but I've seen some people saying that we haven't shed enough. Like, there's still too many positions opened, and we could probably liquidate some more people. I would say that.
Not to cut you off, but I know you're cooking. I hear that all the time too, though. That specific statement. I'd love for somebody to just explain to me what that means. We haven't shed enough, like as if somebody knows the exact number that we need to shed.
Yeah, so I agree with you, Will. Like, I think it's more of just like, hey, there's still a lot of people that are potentially down on their positions that haven't puked yet. But I will say this, like, I think it's pressing to acknowledge that perhaps in the right conditions, in a bull market or a raging bull market, you don't see the OI wipes that we've seen, in bear markets, right? So maybe it's possible that these positions will, they will diamond hand a little bit more. Bull market conditions, like, we shouldn't see. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the expert in this, right? Like, this is probably more like Tommy's domain, but it's like, in a bull market, I wouldn't expect like complete OI wipes like I would in a bear market range. It's just different conditions. So, I don't know. Like, I've never been one to like hedge my opinions, right? Like, if I'm right, then I'm right. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Like, I'll just tell you how I'm feeling, and if I'm wrong, then I guess I get smoked. But uh I'm bullish. Like, I don't think that we're gonna sell super hard here. I am open to Bitcoin retesting the lows, but I think what a lot of these strong altcoins are doing is telling you that the market is not willing to sell much deeper than this. And to see the strength out of others, and others divided by Bitcoin and ETH BTC, it's a direct contradiction to everything that Bitcoin is trying to convince you that it's about to do. And I'm bullish. It is what it is. I'm bullish. I'm cautiously optimistic. I am. But that doesn't mean we couldn't retest the lows locally.
I'm just confused when people people make those statements. Haven't wiped enough. Haven't done this. They're not. There's too much fraud. Like, how is that being measured from an individual standpoint? I don't think people realize that AI tailors things specifically towards your feed, towards what you want to see. So if you're a pessimistic person, you're always looking for pessimistic reasons for the market to come down. It's going to continue to feed you those things through the people that you interact with. It's going to be like, oh, this person talks like how you like to see things. This person talks like how you like, and if it's a down only mindset, it's going to continue to feed you that. This is why, like, I tend to stay away from social media, and that's the nice thing about TA is TA lets you see like the true feelings of the market, the true interactions of how people are feeling about the market, because people are talking with their pockets. They're not talking with their mouth like a lot of people do on Twitter, like a lot of people do on YouTube, like a lot of people do on TikTok. This is why I tend to take TA over anything. I take TA over sentiment. I take TA over wars. I take TA over the government coming out and saying some bullshit. Like I take
Did you
TA
say
over
you
the
take
whole
TA over wars? Did you just say that? Did I hear you correctly?
So what I mean by that,
Will's bringing his laptop into war.
Look, what I mean by that specifically,
Will's on the front line just aping
people-
shitcoins. He's like, I'll take this bottom formation over a war any day. And he's sitting in like the barracks. It's just
when people try to talk about black swan events or wars or just weird shit, I always say it's weird shit because it doesn't matter from a price standpoint, and it typically negative things end up being positive and positive things end up being negative. It's a really weird place for price and TA when it comes to markets, but I think like because you always see like wars get bid, right? Whereas like if it's like, oh, we're doing price cuts on our cars, everybody just starts selling. They don't want that, right? Oh, we're laying off half our employees. Oh, everybody buy the stock, right? Oh, we're splitting the stock. Oh, everybody buy the stock. Everybody knows splitting the stock is just a mental thing. It has no fundamental value. It adds no fundamental value to the stock whatsoever. So like, why do people do it? It's just something that's done, right? Theoretically, you should sell a split stock.
no, Will.
But
You don't
everybody does the
understand, bro.
opposite.
If you chop Nvidia into a tenth and it goes from 1,000 to 100, then you just get to free long it back to 1,000. Yeah, you don't understand.
What about that guy that had it before it split into a 10?
Yeah, he gets same thing. He lost
10
all
of
of his
them.
money. He lost 90%
lost
of his
all.
money.
Well, imagine being a boomer and having your net worth in Nvidia and then opening your brokerage not knowing they split the stock. I'm just wondering what the hell happened.
You know,
Going in to
someone
see
had
we
a
got
heart
1,000.
attack too.
Oh, yeah.
Someone out there had a heart attack.
Just wake up, you're like $10.
And then looking to see how many
I know,
you have.
$100,
You're like,
not $10.
oh my God, they gave me extra stock. Oh, why is the price down?
So funny. Chef Jackus, what's up,
Haggard in the
dog?
comments.
What's up?
I'm hungry. Feed me.
Oh, look at Hagrid.
Well, look,
No
do you
charts.
mean, look
just
at Haggard?
waffling.
Hagrid's
Oh,
in the comments
Hagrid in the
waffling
chat.
right now, man.
As usual. All right,
Tucker, can I get a boys we're pumping? Just give me a boys we're pumping, please.
I need to hear it. I need to hear it.
Should we have him send
He
in
needs
a
to be on the
recording?
show.
Yeah, send the voice
Yeah.
memo and then we'll play.
Bush, we pumping.
Boys we're pumping.
No,
boys,
listen.
we're pumping.
To calm things down, right? So let's discuss the bonds. Yesterday, we were discussing that the market is at the range lows. And yeah, it was scary. We dipped through the support, right? But essentially, I was saying that we are still at the range lows. And just like at the range highs, when I was advising being cautious at 71.5K, at range lows, you should also be cautious anticipating a breakdown, because that's what the market does, right? It ranges between two levels. It makes you feel uncomfortable at both, depending on your position, and it works against you. So best to wait until it actually gives up. When it comes to the bonds, it's really nice, but we need to see more strength, right? I wouldn't be cheerful so far just yet. Like, yeah, this was it. Everything is happy. We are not there yet. I mean, it's very nice to see the bonds, but obviously way more is needed. For me to be fully bullish that this was the bottom, we would need to reclaim 65K. That's very important. And if that's it, then I do believe the next all-time highs is next. Until then, this can just be really just a bounce to offset some of the market makers, absorption of yesterday's liquidations. If you just know what I said, hopefully. And but if that's just that we could continue lower again. So let's see. I think this is very decent, but more is needed. I love, however, the E strengths, like that's significant.
I agree with all that, Louis. You see that cluster from like the first week of May, right on top of your red box, right? That cluster, the two highs right there, those two highs, that's the
Yeah.
level that I'm watching. Like if we can reclaim that level, that's my key reclaim. Like if you can get above that, I feel like
Typo here. Yeah.
that's probably good enough, truthfully.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start, but that's my real area of interest for sure. So
Yeah, we definitely need to at least get back above this range low. We obviously flushed it yesterday. We even filled some liquidity down on this deviation we got of that range low yesterday. Obviously, as you can see, this is a 9-hour chart, but we got a giant wick here. So buyers definitely stepped in down here. I wouldn't want to see this wick low lost. I mean, I'm not to say that price doesn't trickle down here. Either what I just drew here, or it could even kind of just do some of this, just slow trickle. People are back to, okay, we're same as usual. We're fading this pump, come in here, and then boom. So,
Louis,
that's something to look out for.
real quick. Let me ask you a question. This is kind of off topic, but not really. Why the 9-hour chart? Is there some hidden alpha in the 9-hour chart? That seems so
I like
random
the
to
9.
me.
I like the 6 and I like the 9. I don't know. When it comes to crypto, I've just found that the 6 and the 9, just like the 9 hours, like it's not the daily chart, but it's not like your 1 hour, your 4 hour.
Yeah.
It's a good happy medium. And because I don't know, crypto trades 24/7 and it is volatile, I feel like you get that high time frame look, but at the same time, you're still getting that low time frame type of signal. So that is why I like the 9-hour. I've found that it's worked well for me. I started using it, let's say 6 months ago. So this is a relatively new thing, but I do like the 9-hour. 12-hour, it's like a half a daily candle. 4-hour, still pretty low time frame, and it's pretty a crowded time frame that everyone uses. So I like to use the 9-hour. Not many people use it, and I find edge in it. It gives me that combination of both high time frame, low time frame.
All
So
right. No,
that
I
does
appreciate
well.
that. There is some alpha and just like there's some alpha in looking at things that people just don't look at, right? So I've got a few time frames that I have that I feel, but I don't know what it is. Like maybe it's just a psychological thing, but everybody loves to do like 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour, like in multiples of 2. So
Yeah,
break it up with odds, take a look
exactly.
at it. I like that.
That's basically what it comes down to. It's like I'm
Tucker
looking at
has
stuff
Tucker
differently.
has some freakish time frames, man. Tucker is the king of weird time frames.
Is he like the 75-second?
No.
Dude, any
Tuck-
time frame out there, Tucker doesn't care. He'll throw any time. He'll throw the 14.5 minute on there, and just
the
like
24-minute he goes.
and then he'll draw a Tucker Nachi, and then he'll throw on like an obscure VWAP and like a weird line, and then he'll be like, "This is the bottom," and then it will work. Study,
exactly.
study.
Tucker
being
finds a time frame that works for what he wants, and then he goes with that. That's what Tucker
Yeah.
does.
Study
He's like,
fitting
this,
your
this
bias.
fits my narrative. I'm gonna go with this time frame.
Dude, I love fitting my bias, man. You have to love that, man. You have to fit your bias, man. Like yesterday when Bitcoin was nuking, I just kept like moving the goalpost a little bit. Like on my charts, I was like, no, we're good here. We're good here. We're good. Doesn't matter that 63K didn't hold. We're good. We're good. And I just kind of like fit it. But then you kind of get real with it and you're like, all right, we got some work to do, right? We got some work to do.
Yeah. Well, yesterday was definitely like a rip the Band-Aid moment for Bitcoin for sure. I was talking about it in the Discord this morning. But this price action it's just been a slow bleed and just it's just like up, down, which is a slow downtrend. So it was either we were looking for a reversal and a pivot and we head higher, or we got the flush. And we got the flush, obviously. But regardless, as a technician and as a trader, this is, the volatility that you want to look for, because now you kind of have an idea that this action we've been seeing lately is kind of coming to an end. We finally got that last flush. You got that, like Will doesn't like to talk about. We got that. Oh, we got some OI and some leverage longs flushed. But yeah, I mean, this is when you start to get excited. This is when you start to look for your entries, and you kind of get a better read as to what's going on as compared to this price action here. This doesn't give you anything really. This just kind of just plays with their emotion. This and what reaction we see down here within the next couple of days will give us a great read as to whether we are going to stay in the range, which would start by, reclaiming this range low, which we're working on. Lower time frame, we can definitely come back down, maybe back into this red zone or even lower into this wick, like I said. But as long as over the next couple of days you work on reclaiming this range low, getting above these two highs Max mentioned, and then we start working on a stair step higher or working on a pivot. If we don't, then we're losing the range, and then things look very bearish. Let's be honest. But this flush is going to give us, our answer sooner rather than later versus this choppy downtrend action we've been dealing with for the past month. So I'm real excited, because when we get volatility, whether it's upside or downside, that means opportunity is right around the corner, in my opinion.
I do want to talk about the OI, right? Wink, wink.
Will, you're attacking the OI boys today. I can tell you heard OI and you're like, this is my victim for today's show. Anybody that talks about OI is gonna get their head ripped off.
No, like I want to explain a little bit of my thought process behind OI. I feel like OI it's a double-edged sword that most people don't know how to use but try to, and then they start telling their friend about it, and then it just starts spinning out of control. And it's just one of those things. Like, somebody picks up the Snickers and tells their friend to pick up the Snickers too, and they do it together. And so when you see that, it makes you really look at Twitter as this. I point at Twitter specifically because there's so many people that pretend like they understand OI. As a cesspool, people who just reach in a bucket of tools and like, all right, this is what I pulled out today. This is why the market is bearish, and it's usually the OI tool, right? It's a tool that they like to pull.
OI is not a part of your strategy at all, Will. Like, you don't even.
No. Like I think it has its place, right? And I think it does work. I'm not shitting on OI specifically. I just think 99% of people don't know how to read OI.
I mean, to be fair, that's probably 99% of people don't understand how to even draw a trend line, to be fair.
People love the high block charts, man. I was seeing some just absolutely ridiculous numbers put up by high block. Like,
Tommy, don't you love when they go 400 billion in liquidations at this level? Like, they just
and people don't know better, man. It's like, oh, there are 6 billion in ETH shorts at like $100 above current price. Well, I would love to liquidate 50% of the total global ETH OI 100 points away, but that's not realistic.
See, Tommy gets it too. See, I see that you get it, Tommy, because like I swear to God, if I see high block, I swear to God, like, you pull out a Masari chart and you don't know how to read it, and you try to tell me you know what you're seeing here, like you're just bullshitting.
It's just like anything else, it's like it's a tool in a tool belt of things to use. You know what I mean? People come to Twitter, they see these guys, I think, that like know what they're talking about, and they see that, and it sounds smart, and it gives you like, oh wow, look at all those stop losses or liquidations there. Like, price has to go there. And I personally, I've never used OI. I barely look at heat maps. I know heat people that do. Yeah. But I mean, it's good to know, like it's good data to have and to use with when coming to a thesis But just to strictly look at that, I mean, that's just like it's one out of many indicators. It's just not going to do you well. You know what I mean? It's something that can give you confluence. Like if you see that with confluent with a high time frame resistance or a support, yeah, sure. But just using one piece of the puzzle, you're gonna drive yourself crazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
There is, or maybe go ahead, Will, because I would have it longer a little bit.
I'll be real fast. No, so I'm not just for the audience's sake. I'm not shitting on these indicators. I'm saying you can't use them solely as a trading strategy. It's just dumb. Like you can't be like, this is the only reason why we're going to go down, and this is why we're going to hit this level, and blah blah blah. You need to use other confluences to be able to come to a thesis. You can never use a solo indicator and say this is a reason why. This is why, like, I hate heat maps. Not in the form that it doesn't work. I hate it in the form that people use it, right? They use it as a solo tool, and so on and so forth with OI and everything else. You can't use these things as solo tools. You need to use them as confluence to the thesis of the other things that you come up with, trends, strength, so on and so forth. When you add it all together, then you add OI on top of that. Now you got a complete burger, right? You get the burger off the grill, you put it on the bun. You put a tomato on it. You put some lettuce, put some sauces, whatever you like, ketchup, mustard.
What?
When you're just putting the burger on the bun and slapping it together and eating it like that, like that's what you're doing when you're just talking about OI. You have no dressing.
I'm a simple burger guy, Will. I only like a few ingredients.
Well, you're gonna have a fun colon when you get older.
I was talking to Max and Tucker about this over the weekend. Like my burger is mayo and cheese. I don't feel like the lettuce. Even though I like lettuce and I like mustard sometimes, I don't feel like a lot of these ingredients that they put on burgers actually add flavor to a burger, man. They're just kind of there. They don't need to be there. And maybe that's kind of like a lot of these trading tools too. I always say with OI that there's like two types of people that do well adding OI to their trading or like the analysis of open interest. It's the people who like a burger that doesn't have too much ingredients, like me. And, you can use kind of the context of OI with other tools. Like, I mean, you can tell with TA if traders are trapped, right? Like a deviation below or above a range. It's the same thing. And that having the OI that you can analyze is added context to that. And then there are the people who specialize in just order flow. And those, I mean, it's much harder to really excel in that because you've got to really have an edge over other people. And I know very few people that actually like meet that criteria. But I mean, the people I know who do they're absolute killers. So whatever, maybe you would call that burger like a specialty burger or whatever. But
look, that's your Kobe burger.
Those are the two types of people that I see using it or applying it to their trading effectively.
We can call that the Kobe meat burger. Right? no better burger. We call it there's very few Kobe meat burgers for a reason, and they're very expensive. But I would like to hear what Jackus wanted to throw in there, and I know he had some ingredients he wanted to throw on that burger.
No, I actually like what Tommy said about the burgers, and I love how you can reference everything to trading back again. Because like if you have too many indicators on your chart, you are probably too confused what's going on. Like there's too much, and I suppose that's the same with the burger. So I love the analogy, and I just love how like in trading you can really have it's such a mirror to you, to the real life. That's why I love it so much. But going back to the charts or like to the discussion that we had. So, well, you said that you don't like something as like the only thing, right? You like it as a confluence. Well, that was my main case when we studied the moon phase, the full moons. And so
Careful,
forth.
Jackus. Careful.
It is what it is. And when Will said that, that just rang a bell there. Because nothing can be used on its own. You need to use it as a confluence. And we know how, like, there was a full moon. We were supposed to rally. Instead, we got it done. It is what it is. Once again, Jake is proven right. Hagrid probably trying to find something in the chat, some statistic, right? I told him go trade it.
Hashtag pew.
61%. Just joking.
Hey,
Just joking.
there's a guy
But-
in the comments that goes by the name Sal.
No.
And,
Bro, I
and
wasn't
Sal,
gonna say anything.
Sal speaks of himself in the third person sometimes. So his
Big
name is
Sal.
Sal, and he'll say, "You guys over here talking about the same bullshit every day, while Big Sal delivers you fellas the goods. Stop ignoring and start studying. What the F are we taking about?" So, Big Sal, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you delivered. I
think it's the Twitter live stream, I guess.
know. He's watching on YouTube. Look, see, it's got the little YouTube logo next to his name.
Sal Bogats.
Do you know him? Louis,
I need to
it's
follow.
not-
I need to
no,
follow.
I don't-
Look, I need to
We're
follow
cousins.
Sal. Sal, where are you at? I need alpha. I need guidance. I
Take
need
a look at
everything.
the
Will
chart in the
needs
live
to.
stream.
Sal, could you help Will understand the OI profile?
I need to know the OI.
Oh, I think
By the
he's
way,
talking about the
okay,
chart that we
guys.
have up. I think that's what he's talking about. Is that what you're talking about? I sent it to the live stream. How do you
Okay,
send
Sal,
something?
I'm gonna find your chart right now. This is the moment for you, Sal. You
This
you
is
came in
Sal's
hot. You said that we're talking about the same bullshit every day, and we should basically look at your chart. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I don't know where you dropped it. I'll go through the Twitter one. I'll see if I can find your chart somewhere, but I don't. You can't send it on YouTube. I know that, so it's got to be Twitter. I don't have any DMs from anyone named Sal. I don't see any charts here, Sal. I don't know where to find your chart, Sal. I was gonna put it on the screen, but I can't find it. So
I wanna move away from Saul.
never.
There's one more
No.
thing.
It's already over it. What the heck?
Jackus is moving away.
Jack said I'm okay.
From this Saul discussion. So there was actually one thing that I wanted to add to the conversation before, but then you guys added many new topics, so I had to react to those. But
We've been known to get
Original-
sidetracked from time to time. Yeah, that happens.
originally, I wanted to say when you guys were discussing the heat map and OI and the order flow, basically. So this is something I've observed over the years on CT, is that there is always some hot topic, some indicator that catches the people's attention. And I've seen it going from MACD to Ichimoku's to moving averages to RSI to order blocks to fair
ICT.
value gaps, smart money concepts, ICT, and then I was saying, I've seen this over and over again. Do you know what is going to be the next? And I said order flow, and boom, here we are. Everyone is like order flow expert, heat block maps or high block maps everywhere, right? So there is always something people want to look at as the next holy grail, like something that just is the most precise thing that predicts the market 100% forever. And I've been there. Like in my very beginnings, my chart looked like a mess. There was like hundreds of indicators. I tried to find the best, number. I could set a secret number of, moving average and secret number of MACD and find the perfect crossover and all of that. And what I discovered, and it took me quite some time, but that there is really no magic number. And you really got to go with rather like understanding that there is nothing 100% accuracy. And I know that people do not want to hear this, right? Like they want that 100% accuracy indicator. They want that arrow. They want that full moon below the chart, right? Telling them it's green time. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've been there. So what you want to do is focus on few things. No, Maxi, do not react.
What did I just hear, Jackus? Blasphemy.
Listen, what you want to do is look for things that are historically proven that work, whether that's really price action, market structure, moving averages, whatever. Can be few of those, right? And look for mastering those, like look how price is reacting during a chop, when it's bull market, when it's bear market, and try to master that, try to find confluences and create context. But there will always be, I'm super convinced there will always be like something that's hot. I think that's cool because the market is trying to like discover a new tool to measure the market. But essentially when it comes, guys, do not be like, oh yeah, this is it. This is going to, finally make me like be the pro of the charts. No, just analyze if the deal suits you and maybe add it to a repertoire, but that's all it is.
All right.
And by the way,
I know what Sal's
I
looking
love
at.
how ETH is pumping.
ETH looks good, man. Alts look really good here. If Bitcoin doesn't jeet, it's alt season. Confirmed.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
it is. Yes,
I
it
agree.
is. All right.
If Bitcoin can get back above 64K, it is turn your brain off season, man. Oh, Tucker needs to be here, man. Nobody loves a shitcoin pump more than Tucker. There's not a single person I know that loves a shitcoin pump more than Tucker, man.
I think this is what he's talking about here. December.
That is,
November.
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. All right. So Big Sal Bugats.
Louis,
Nice.
you must know this. Is this like your guy? This is your mafia friend?
It's his alt account.
This is
on
Louis'
Twitter.
alt.
It's Louis' alt.
Dude, I know
I
Louis part of organized crime syndicate, man.
No.
He's probably like, I'm your garbage man. And then I'm like, nah, I already have a provider. And he's like, no, I'm your garbage man. And I'm like, no, I already got a guy. And then I don't sign up. And then he blows up my dumpster. And then I call him and I'm like, hey, my dumpster blew up from dynamite. And then then Louis comes back and he's like, hey, we got a deal. But the price went up. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's fine. That's Louis. All right.
How do you think I got this job?
Not being a wise guy, Louis.
But yeah, so I think Sal is referring to 2017. He's saying this price action looks a lot like what we're seeing now, which it could be. You got a little range here.
Yeah, which it could be.
Range low.
It could be.
So he's looking for that range low to range high move here that Will was talking about. All right, so
yeah. I was talking about that yesterday. So by the way, even though you gave me the alpha, I was talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Look at this comment, bro. Alter ego Louis definitely wears a tracksuit. 100%, man.
I think
he's got a thin gold chain and a tracksuit, man. Yeah.
I think Sal's gonna be my new quant. He's gonna be my new alpha quant.
I love Sal, bro.
Can I get the chart real quick?
Yeah.
You don't ask, Will. You take. But you're taking it from Louis T, man. So there might be consequences.
It won't let me take. It won't let me take.
Oh, Will, message me your email. We just upgraded our plan, so now I can get you the permissions.
I was about to say I thought Will had admin, but
he did, but it's on the company email, but he's using his own login. But yesterday during the team meeting, we decided to upgrade the plan so we could get everybody on it. So Will, just send me your email. But here's the Outlook's screen.
So I just wanted to, like when you, as you kind of caress your trading strategy over time, you get less and less bullshit on your chart. But this is all you need. Like you don't need all the other shit. Like all these other fucking OI washes. Again, I'm old school, so
you're still hung up on the OI. Will you can't let you sunk your teeth in early on the stream, and you're not gonna quit until you've buried all the OI boys. I can tell how this is gonna go. But I'm sorry, we'll keep going.
But this is just the reality of things, and this is me telling people you're about to get absolutely blown the fuck out in 2021 while everybody's sitting here bidding higher, and I'm like, you're about to get taken to the fucking cleaners, which they actually ended up pulling down and then running back up, which ended up kind of throwing off my thesis a little bit for a time period. But hey, I got my targets later, right? I got my targets later. So if you just go with what you see in the chart, I think at the end of the day you'll do a lot better than if you're sitting here looking at OI washes and shit like that. No offense to OI, obviously, right? We always want to stay on target. But hey, have a target. That's all I'm going to tell you guys. Like I know a lot of people like to sit there and talk a big game. I've got recorded charts showing
Well, it's always
exactly where I
like
took
no
this one's
offense,
going.
but then proceeds to offend you.
Hit my targets on the money, hit my targets on the money all the way back there. But again, just formed a range, right? Why complicate it? I don't give a shit about OI. Like they can have as much OI down there as they want. This is a bull market. I think if people just take it from that perspective, they'll do a lot better from a trading perspective.
I'm going to take one quick moment to interrupt you and call out Evan Casey. Evan Casey has not only been dodging us after promising that he'd come on the show, but now he is attacking the panel in the comments. Evan Casey, enough is enough, man. You want to talk that shit, come on the show. Do it live, Evan. Come on, Evan. Evan says that we take all his stuff. I don't know what you are talking about, Evan. I have no Evan. Genuinely, man. Like
we wanted Evan to come up. Evan's just like, I deny you. Evan's like,
I have no idea what Evan's even talking about, man. Like I genuinely am confused by the hostility from Evan, man. Like we've invited him on the show and then he randomly comes in the comments and he's talking shit. I post all my trades, they don't. Brother.
I'll tell you what, he does post a lot of P&Ls in the general chat. I have noticed that.
Evan has gone rogue, bro. Evan, I thought we were friends, man. What happened here? We've always loved each other, Evan. Like we've had a great appreciation for Evan. What's going on,
I can
Evan?
fix this. It's called a glass of milk.
Evan's done posting his trades. Evan, what's happening today, bro? Dude, dodges he won't come on the show, and now he's mad in the comments. No. Dude, what happened? What did I miss?
I thought Evan had less emotion than this. What's going on?
This is heartbreaking, man. This is devastating.
What a dip does to a man.
Evan, did you get cleaned out on that dip, bro? Dude, Evan.
Can we highlight Mike Raff's comment there?
Who?
Mike Raff.
Mike Raff? Let me find it.
It's a little further
out.
Evan, don't tell me this is true, Evan. Don't tell me this is true.
Oh, man.
Oh, Gary Cardone's chiming in.
Hello, Gary. You are right, Gary. Haters hate, critics criticize, and losers lose. Gary, you're right, except Evan's literally our boy. He's been like, he's been in the chat here for like 6 months at least, man. And I don't know what's going on today, man. We love Evan. I don't know why Evan doesn't love us today, but it's all right, man. We still love Evan, even if he doesn't love us. But all right, Will, let's get back to cooking, man. What do you got for us here?
I don't know, man. Like,
I'd love to get a perspective from you, like where you think July and August take us, man, because June has been kind of choppy, right? A lot of fear. What do you think for the next couple months?
If we hold the range, I'm wanting to see this. I'm wanting to see that. But you gotta hold this range. That's the ideal thing. I'm straight up telling you guys on the show. Like I'm not like, hey guys, we're only going up. We're not going below 60K anymore. I'm not telling you that. All right. So I don't want to hear that crybaby shit. The whole point is that I think we're gonna veer out, but you have to stay above 60K to do that. So and not to mention too, if we close something like right here, that's very positive for price. Because you've already got wicks moving in your favor, right? And then at that point, you got higher lows on the body, right? We're not looking at this like this is some kind of pattern. I'm just highlighting the lows. And then you've got basically what you would consider kind of a tightening pattern kind of forming here. And then at that point, even though this is a really tight pattern, you can spring out of that, right? but all you got to do is make people believe that price won't go below here, which is what market makers are doing, essentially, right? But nobody's seeing it high time frame right now. Everybody's looking on the H1, the H4, and they're like, oh, this is what's going on H4, H1. They're not paying attention to that literal flat line across that low that's forming at the moment on the high time frames.
So it looks like on the monthly, if you zoom out on these higher time frames, it looks like we're just flagging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are, man. I mean,
consolidation.
I think a lot of people are confused. I see the case for lower, right? Like in theory, I see it. But,
I do too. 100%.
But here's the thing: when you spend 4 months ranging, reaccumulating, reestablishing value at the previous cycle all-time high, actually above on a monthly close basis, there's nothing bearish about that, right? There's nothing bearish about that. The fact that we have been holding up here for 4 months at the previous cycle all-time high, while U.S. equities are literally ripping upwards. I mean, look, we looked at this yesterday, right? Like Microsoft, Google, Apple, NVIDIA, mega cap tech, literally ripping upwards, breaking out. There's a case to be made for crypto lagging, in my opinion, right? So I don't know, big week for crypto, right? Like I would love to see them try to save the June monthly candle. If they could save the June monthly candle, we have fireworks in July and August.
I mean, look, I dialed it down to the daily for those of you who think that my thesis is too unreasonable. And if you continue to flag and tighten here, it's a ripperoni.
That's too long, Will. I don't want that to go to September, bro.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to flag out to here, right? It could flag out to like over here. It actually, I won't lie. Like, if we're gonna be in a summer lull, this is what that will look like.
Yeah.
This is exactly what it'll be painful, but this is what that will look like.
At least we're on a summer
lull.
I would agree with that. And historically, summers have been kind of crappy for price. Well, not always, right? So, for example, before the 2017 parabola, we actually had a pretty solid summer, like before Bitcoin went to 20K in 2017. But typically summers, not all the time, but typically summers are a little bit dull, right? So I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but bro, can you imagine if we literally ranged through the till September and bull flag? This might be the biggest bull flag that we've ever seen. Like, I don't even know.
It would be massive.
I mean, it'd be what, like 7 months?
The longer the consolidation, the harder the push. 100%.
Dude, like, I don't think I can accept that, dude. I would be so bored coming on this show every day talking about a 7-month-long bull flag.
Well, not really, because altcoins would be just thriving through that period.
Yeah,
they would be thriving through that period. You'd
if
be
this,
making
if
tons
this
of money.
is the low, if this is the low of a bull flag, like I was actually showing on Discord this morning, and we get a bounce here, this should be where alts start to head higher and start going on their breakouts. So that's the upside. We might not even have to wait for Bitcoin to get to price discovery. If we get a nice big bounce here from Bitcoin, alts seem to look strong. ETH looks really strong. Alts might just start the party now.
Yeah. I would say, like, if this is the beginning of a flag, alts will lead this rally. And if alts lead the rally, you already know what it is.
Right.
What's up, Jackus?
Listen, or just better look. 1 sec.
Oh no!
Come on,
you guys, you earned it today. You earned it today, guys. I am done. I'm done being Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh my God.
No more time to take out the trash. Louis Tuesday. Listen, guys. Listen. We got a lot of people watching right now. We don't have a lot of likes on this stream. It's an egregiously low number of likes. Guys, if you are enjoying the content, if you are done and sick of looking at the soybean futures cash contract on the 15-second time frame with Heikinashi candles, do us a solid, guys. Hit that thumbs up. I one day dream to live in a world where mega cap tech overlords don't require us to get likes on our stream in order to grow, but They got us, guys. They've got us, and they set the rules. They determine what shows get engagement, and it's unfortunate. Like we need to get likes, guys. We need to get likes. If you want to support us, you want to support the show, you want to support the channel, you want to help us continue to grow at the pace that we are, do us a solid, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. And if you're on Twitter, it's super easy. You just hit the heart button, and you could also hit that retweet button, guys. Help spread the good word, help more people learn, see good content, share a good show, guys. We're here Monday through Friday. All we ask in return is that you like the stream and also subscribe if you are new here. Let's see how we're doing. We were at, I think, like 100. All right, 236 on YouTube. That ain't bad. All right, we can get back to the show now, guys. We can get back to the show.
All right. I'm gonna pull a Tommy here. Sorry.
Oh my.
All you.
Yes.
Oh my. It's a rare time when Jack is like, he just steps in there, you know, he just strong arms you. He'll just take the chart.
Guys,
I don't
what
see it,
are we
Jack.
seeing on this chart?
I don't see it. It's not
Maybe
up
you
there.
don't see it.
Does
Oh.
anybody else see it?
Nope. He took the background, not the chart.
There's no
What
chart.
about
There
now?
it is. There it is. All right, we're good. We're good.
What are we seeing, guys? What are we seeing?
I'm seeing June. I'm seeing the summer solstice marked out on every single chart.
Bruh.
Yep, Jackus is studying the sun and the moon, guys.
Wait,
See a
what
bunch
is
of
it?
random lines and random spots.
To be fair, Jackus, you did ask me what I was seeing on the chart, and I told you the correct answer. So please proceed.
Every single June, the market finds a bottom
On the summer solstice.
and bounces.
On the bull moon and the summer solstice. What a coincidence.
Oh my God.
Max birthed one.
Look at Big
I married
Haggard,
one.
man. Look at Big Haggard applying that heat from the comments. Sorry,
Respect.
Jackus. I'll shut up. You keep going. Go ahead, Jackus.
Well, this is all.
What? You steal the chart for like 35 seconds?
That is
What do you-
all.
No, Jackus. What? Are you kidding?
That's it.
You stole the chart for 30 seconds. That's it?
What likes we have, Max?
We did pretty well. Let's see. 260.
Listen, we have 500 people watching. That's not even, half a ratio. We need to do better.
That's true. All
Greedy
right, guys,
chef.
hammer that like button. But look,
35 seconds is all it does for this amount of likes. It is what it is.
I mean, guys, look,
mean-
this looks pretty good here. Like this is
Well, do
mean-
you remember what I said yesterday, Max?
you
In
say a
regards
lot
to
of
this?
things on every show, which
I know. Look, I'm not talking about the nonsense, okay? I'm talking about the actual substance. But look, I stated yesterday, I said if you get back above 60, then you're good. If you can hold that range. If you get back above 61, you're much better. I do agree with Jackus on the 65K theory, but I think like acceptance back into the 60K range is big. And from where we were, right? The sell pressure yesterday was immense. It was, you could see it, like they were just hammering the low. And the bears weren't able to produce, because if they were able to produce, we would be much lower today. Buyers are not willing to sell Bitcoin below 60K. I mean, the thesis is, right? Obviously people sold below 60K. I want to fix that for the people that, haven't made it past the 5th grade and understand theses. But the point being is that every time price gets into that 60K range, what does the market do? Tommy, what does the market do every time we get in that 60K range?
It's been showing buyback so far.
It's been showing bid. It's been showing interest. So just study the lows.
That's why they call
Right.
it demand. There's demand
It's
there.
study demand. Exactly. Demand is very high in the 60K range. It's very high. Anytime Bitcoin is below 59K, the market is saying undervalued. And the market is doing what? It's buying.
I mean,
It's
Will, when I look at this chart, man, like if as long as we hold this green box like 60.5, 61, like this could be, that might be it, bro. Like you hold that range low, you know what I mean? You carve out a bottom there. I could look pretty good. Like ideally I want to see us above this, right? I'll make this line I'll make it blue. I want to see us above this line right here, right? This is big, right? Because then if you get back above this, you know, all of this is kind of like, you know, your bear trap, you know, your deviation, your bear trap right here. And then I think you kind of open the door to, you know, something like this, right? You could maybe view this as like it's a little warped, right? But a little bit like a little PO3 action, something like this, truthfully. So you continue to hold this range low and then you get back above. In my opinion, 63.5 is all you need with haste, brother, with haste.
That wick tells me at that low there that bears were just unsuccessful on their push. They should have at minimum been able to double bottom, if not created a lower low, but they didn't have the sell pressure to do it.
Yeah.
And people always gotta look at the height of those lows. That's the most important thing in the chart. Are you forming lower lows or are you forming higher lows? It doesn't matter if it's a little bit or a lot, right? A lot obviously means the buy demand is immense and probably means you're closer to a top than you really think. But because buy is very even on these lows and you're stair stepping up, you're creating this higher and higher and higher mentality of, hey, every time price comes down, I need to scalp the other guys out and buy higher. And you create that and create that and create that until you stair step into resistance and you just blow out. And this is why these higher low structures are very important to charts. And I think like not enough people are respecting the higher low structure here. They're still looking for lower positions. Bears had their opportunity, in my opinion, and I don't.
Will,
think
you said something. You said something a while ago about comparing this to the 25K range, and you're like, everybody wanted 22K. And to be fair, I did as well. And you're like, you don't get that perfect fill if there's really demand. And in my opinion, your perfect fill is probably like 54 right now, maybe 53.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If it's really that strong, you're not going to get it, right? But you know what? I have to actually put someone in the hot seat right now because he's been a little bit quiet this show. And he's smiling.
Jackus?
Why so serious, Tommy? Why are you quiet? You holding out on me. It's okay. I want to hear your unfiltered thoughts, even if they directly contradict exactly what I drew. Please.
I don't know if I can confirm that I think the low is in necessarily, or that this is going to be a guaranteed deviation, because, you know, to be fair, I wasn't in the camp that we would trade all the way back down to range lows. So the fact that we have is you know, it's surprising to me. It signals a little bit more, either more weakness is present than I thought, or the selling pressure is more, you know, sustained than I thought. So I would say that. And then I would say I think the fact that altcoins bounced yesterday, I'm trying not to overreact to them too much. Yeah, there were definitely some altcoins that came into levels where you would expect them to bounce. But at the same time, I think a lot of the move was on Bitcoin was front ran by altcoins. And it's like Jackus was talking about at the beginning of the show. I think a lot of that buyback, not just on Bitcoin that we saw over the last 24 hours, but on altcoins a little bit before that, is, you know, it might be just a result of liquidations being reflexively bought back up. So I don't want to overreact to the bounce off the lows yet. I think it looks constructive on a lower time frame, but I didn't anticipate that we would bleed all the way back to range lows. I have continually said the only open interest that I think is really relevant at this point is, you know, we talked about it weeks ago, right? Like $4 or $5 billion came in above 66, 67K, and we still have yet to see it. Like, open interest hasn't puked yet, right? Like we puked $1 billion yesterday, or really over the last 48 hours. But to the extent that we saw, right, like 4 or 5 billion come in up there, those buyers have not all puked their positions. So I'm just kind of,
did they come in at mostly?
Like 67K and above. So they're underwater.
Why are they going to puke their positions?
They don't have to, right? I mean, they don't have to. It's just, I think they're offside, and realistically, we've got a big seller in the market. You can see it pretty present during New York session during the day. And I think that if they're going to keep selling, and you have these perps that are continuously buying, eventually one of them is going to run out of money. And it's like I said, I don't like the fact that we traded back into range lows, because I was expecting pretty firmly a higher low to get carved out at some point in the range, not just to bleed incessantly all the way back to the low.
So let me ask you a question, Tommy, and I'll structure it in a way that makes it easy for you.
The question asked for.
At what point or what price do you then flip that thesis on its head?
Well, where did the majority of the positioning come in, right? I mean, it came in at around 66, 67K. So if you flip that again, rather than at this point, I think if you're a bear, like the aggressive bearish retest is into 64, 65K. If that positioning is going to remain offside, and I think you said an important thing about this at the beginning of the show, Will, like it's a bull market. So that positioning technically doesn't have to be punished. And I'm not just assuming that this positioning has to be punished, but I also don't want to jump to call a low when I feel like they're still kind of sitting in underwater longs. And if we are trying to retest their entry from below, that effectively makes them supply. And I think that's just something to be mindful of as well.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you make of altcoins not following Bitcoin into this puke from yesterday? Is there any signal on that, or just kind of it's waiting for Bitcoin to roll over then? And you would expect alts to follow?
I mean, there could be signal. It's like if Bitcoin and ETH keep selling, then altcoins are going to sell. I mean, that's just, I think we all kind of know that's a given at this point, but it could be front running, right? Like if Bitcoin and ETH are bottomed, then altcoins have already front run their low, and they probably do begin to see these lower time frame uptrending structures sustain. But I think it is kind of down to what Bitcoin and ETH are going to do, because if they're not bottomed, then altcoins aren't bottomed. But we have cleared so much open interest and forced sell pressure that they probably don't lead, relatively speaking, as much as people might think, because we have cleared so much of that local positioning. But if Bitcoin and ETH sell, altcoins are still going to sell. I still just think what we're seeing, like, it just depends on majors. If majors go up from here, obviously alts are probably going to send a lot harder because they have less overhead, less supply. There aren't as many people positioned in altcoins anymore as there were 2 or 3 months ago. Obviously, I these ranges and downtrends have made that pretty clear. So I think it's entirely dependent on majors, but altcoins have bounced from levels of demand that they should be bouncing from. If you think that Bitcoin and ETH are bottomed here,
I would say this though. I want to point this out. I think this is important. Is that yes? While Bitcoin still has a lot of OI, I think most altcoin OI has been washed out, if not all.
Yeah.
And that's really significant for a market that's primarily right now altcoin heavy. And in my perspective. And so if that's the case, then I think like looking at altcoin OI would be more present or more pressing than Bitcoin OI. And I think Bitcoin OI plays less of an impact than what the altcoin market does at the moment. At least as far as the way I see interest.
It's just when Bitcoin pukes, it kind of just like it goes last. It's kind of ironic because most people think that last leg capitulation should be the hardest for altcoins. But what tends to happen is that altcoins bleed and they bleed and they bleed and they front run the move on Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin kind of completes the move all at once, like we saw yesterday, right? Where altcoins weren't really bleeding quite as much, but Bitcoin still had that. It's less volatile, but you still haven't really turned the screw on that positioning yet to that degree, if that makes sense. So Bitcoin usually goes last. At least it has for like the last 1.5 to 2 years. I think the best example of that was SVB when, altcoins literally just bled out incessantly for probably 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And then everybody shorted altcoins thinking they'd go down even more. But a lot of altcoins were incredibly resilient while while Bitcoin and ETH kind of capitulated into like 19, 20K. I don't remember exactly where it was for ETH, but yeah, I mean, majors usually lead the last leg of selling.
Guys, there is this guy in the comments, Don. He says, based on everything, he thinks no bottom be going lower, and then says, based on everybody being so optimistic, not enough pain yet. What are you smoking, bro? What are you smoking? Like, he's probably the guy who at the, full bottom FTX capitulation said, hey, there is not enough pain. We need to be going lower.
We need more,
Like,
more pain.
Have you checked yesterday's sentiment? Everyone was in full panic mode. People were super emotional. We had one of the largest sells in a year, and he says not enough pain, man. Like, what are these people smoking? The fear and greed index, as meme as it is, dropped below 30%. That's the lowest since the very bottom when BTC was trading at 16K in January 2023. Like,
And yeah,
stop smoking crack, as Will says.
I think the fear and greed index to me is just it's a meme for people to really kind of follow along with. A lot of people think it has some kind of relevance in the market. Just like people will come on to like a show like this and they'll be like, "Oh, these guys are too happy, not enough pain." Right? Like, it's like, I'm happy because guess what? I bought below a lot of the pricing that a lot of you did. So this doesn't bother me. Like,
I think
if
you're
gonna base your sentiment off us, like you've got the wrong crew, because if we've all been here for multiple years, we've been through multiple cycles. So we're used to this. This is what we do. Like I get excited. Like yesterday, I was literally giddy. Like, ask anybody of the Discord members. I was putting out some hype last night. This gets me excited. When price starts going back up, then I start to get less excited. I get excited in moments like these. So if you're gonna base your sentiment off us, that's a recipe for disaster.
I was mad. You want to know what I was mad about? Oh, go ahead, Jackass.
Open interest.
This guy is like, I like that. Keep that hoping up. That's why I know it's going lower. He's the same guy that was here when we were trading at sub 40K, and he said the same. Like, I like that hopium. I know it's going lower, and in the meantime, we went to new all-time highs. Do you think these people come back and apologize? Never.
I don't care.
Recently, I had one on Twitter, though, and he came back and said, Jackies, I have to apologize. I'm sorry. I got it wrong. And I was like, wow, I have not seen this. That was so there are some people, but that's very, very tiny percentage of number.
I could care less about their apologies, to be honest with you. I know most of them live under a bridge or in a grocery cart. So
in a grocery cart, Snickers. Oh my god! All right, let's.
See those people
this
pushing a grocery
is an
cart?
important chart we need to discuss, guys. Sal, I found his chart. Sal said, "I'm literally showing you fellas the greatest chart of all time." LOL. Sal, here's the chart. So, guys, this is the self-proclaimed the greatest chart of all time. All right, I want you all to study this. This is from Big Sal. All right.
Thank
Sal,
you.
I do honestly, I do agree with where you think the market's at. Generally, I do. I think we could work on your colors and like your formatting a little bit, but I do generally agree with your timing. Greatest chart of all time, though, I don't know, Sal. That's that's a bold claim. I'm gonna let you finish, but Jackass had one of the greatest charts of all time. You guys know what I'm talking. That's the Kanye. Kanye interrupted Taylor Swift. He's like, "Hold up, I'm gonna let you finish." But Beyonce had one of the greatest music videos of all time.
Can I borrow the chart real quick? Since
Will, have you studied the greatest chart of all time? Will.
I do want to make a point from what Tommy was saying before you get started, Will, and that's the presence of a large seller we've been seeing. I don't have anything up on the chart, but I think we as in I mean, I don't know about the rest of the panel, plus, a lot of the market participants. I think we highly underestimated the level of miner selling post halving. I'm the last person to look around and say, look for an excuse for downwards price action. I'm like, oh, this person's selling, that person's selling, this person's buying. Like, I don't pay attention to any of that. However, it is pertinent to know in the history of Bitcoin and with these halving cycles is you see that post halving, having mining companies' profits get cut in half. And that's what makes Bitcoin scarce is the halving. But their profits get cut in half. So the smaller entities in this business, it makes it 10 times harder for them to make money. And what do they have? They have a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheets. Just like a company would hold cash, Bitcoin miners, they hold Bitcoin. So what we're seeing here is post halving, the smaller miners, I mean, I've heard this. I don't know how true this is, but they have to capitulate and sell Bitcoin to pay for either to run their facilities or to try and upgrade their equipment to newer equipment to make it cost effective to mine Bitcoin. So what we see after every halving is we see miners capitulate and they either go out of business or they have to go through this cycle of selling Bitcoin, getting new equipment that makes it more cost effective, and then they begin mining again and accumulating Bitcoin. So I think we did underestimate that. I definitely did. And historically, I saw a bigger account out there. His name is Wu. I don't really follow him, but every now and again, he has some sort of information. And that's that this has taken a lot longer than other, like previous halvings for these miners to capitulate. And what would make sense is that we are way higher post halving than we've ever been. Usually price is way lower than we are now post halving. Usually we're a lot lower. Usually we're not at all-time highs. So that could be why we're seeing such a prolonged multi-month capitulation from these miners is because price is way higher than it normally is compared to previous cycles. So that can be the large seller that we've been, experiencing and seeing the last couple months. So I just wanted to put that out there. So if there is data, I know Jackus was posting some alpha in the Discord last night on this information, but that is probably a good data set to watch for and see is what these miners are doing, how much Bitcoin they have on the balance sheets to sell to get an idea of when this sell pressure might dry up. So that's just a point I wanted to make.
Yeah.
People have no idea how oversold we are at these prices. And that's funny because we are trading at previous cycles all-time highs. This reset we had since March is one of the biggest blessings, but people will only be able to see that, listen, in 6 to 10 months time frame from here.
Yeah, I would say this from where we're sitting. I actually think this is closer to, the 2020 cycle personally from the way it's structured, but I do think like structurally we could repeat a 2013 weird freaking run double top pattern, but I also think like a lot of people are in the boat of 17 over here. It's a hard sell. It's hard to really tell what that looks like. I can tell you the pattern is tightening over time, right? And that's a really important context. That means you're getting diminishing returns. The higher you go, and typically, I know a lot of you will be like, well, then it's going to fall over one day. No, these patterns tend to go like this, and then they tend to do that, which is the opposite of, what this pattern actually means. But a tightening pattern just means diminishing until no longer diminishing. But the biggest part I wanted to point out here is that this was prior halving, right here. This right here, again, is prior halving. Now, I put this here and here, but hey, I could be wrong on that, and it could be something like this, right? And it could be this all over again. Again, not saying it repeats, but maybe somewhat rhymes. And if that were the case, then I would be looking for something like this from the current pattern And I would say that this is going to turn into something like this. Now, this turns into that lull scenario we were talking about where Tommy's like, I don't really like how it came back down. And I think that the market as a whole, I'm kind of in the boat of what Tommy's saying, but in a different way. I think the market as a whole doesn't like that Bitcoin came all the way back down here. And so what does that mean? I think it may take more time for the market to get out of this lull that we're in because we came all the way back down here, right? So it's not going to be some scenario where we're here today and tomorrow we're like this, right? It may take some months for the market to kind of work its way out of this range, realize, oh shit, we're not going lower. We need to bid. And then all of a sudden you get a shove candle, months down the road. And I think that that's what a lot of people are not anticipating here. This could be a longer lull than what people are anticipating. It really can. We can't forget, again, the 25K zone and how long that took to play out here. It took quite a bit of time for the 25K zone to play out here. I mean, we sat here for a total of roughly 215 days? 215 days, right? And up here, we're currently going on, as of right now, roughly about 117 days. What does 215 days look like? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Right in line. Right? Right in line. If we follow the 25K range that we sat there for 215 days, we're going to do the same thing up here again. Then you're sitting somewhere probably closer to the end of the year before you get that next leg up, that breakout, possibly maybe even going into the beginning of next year. But I think it'll happen closer to the end of the year. You'll get that. What I think will happen is you'll continue to get alt seasons here. Everybody will claim the top, right? You'll get the market sell off somewhere over here, maybe like September or whatever. You'll be near the high end range. You'll get the big candle drop, right, into support. And the big candle drop will be, again, what? Tax loss harvesting. And then right after tax loss harvesting, everybody says it's over. Sell now. This is it. Market's cooked. And then you get a God candle coming out of that going into next year. What do you think about that, Tommy?
And I mean, that's a lot of sideways, man. That's a crab market. That's like, you can't even call that a bull market. That's a crab market.
I mean, 25K, bro.
Yeah. I mean, if it plays again, we're gonna have a huge upthrust afterwards. Like I know that.
Look at this. Look at this.
Yeah. It'd probably be even bigger, though, since you're, if you're getting a 7 or 8 month consolidation at all-time highs, breaking above it, there is no more supply, right? Like you're literally just in price discovery. You would, in that hypothetical, you're going to the heavens.
Look at that. Nobody's expecting that.
Well, I think you need to shorten that up, bro. We already had those two highs, in my opinion. Like, zoom in on that.
Well, it's not really the point of the way the pattern's playing out. It's more of the time, right? I'm just applying the time. I'm saying if we go that extended amount of time, 221 days, it's just going to, we've already had our drop here, right? So I think we're over here somewhere for sure. I think like this is kind of what we're looking like. And so even if we were to shorten that time period, we're still going to go up extremely high. And then we slowly work out of the slow, kind of like what Tommy's saying, where he doesn't think we're just going to come right back up and flip all this. And then just slowly work that low and then eventually just break out. Now, if it's a shortened amount of time, look how well this fits here, Max. It'll be somewhere around August where you'll get that breakout.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's not really my base case that I don't agree with the timing. Not that it can't happen. I just think it's going to happen sooner than that. We're generally thinking the same thing. I think it's a condensed version of that.
I mean, this looks That looks
we're at
pretty on
range
point.
lows from last range low to range high in this range took us about a month. So if it takes us a month to get back to range highs, you know what I mean? That's fair. Chop a little at range high and then go. That puts us near August. But I would agree with Max. I don't think we have that much time with the uncertainty of elections towards the end of the year and stuff like that. But I was also saying I didn't think we were going to come down to range lows. So maybe that is what's keying up here. So, time will tell, but I would think sooner than that. But, end of July, early August is definitely a possibility. Just looking at price history in this range specifically.
Yeah, I would just say don't underestimate the power of a market shakeout, right? As far as a time constraint standpoint. So what I mean by that specifically is don't think that the market can't stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid. And that's a real statement for those in the audience who may or may not know. And that means that the market could continue to chop in a range that you think may ideally say that it's over, but then eventually break out against what your thesis is at the end of the day. And I think that a lot of people's thesis is down, and I think they're going to be completely offsides. And I think that this thing is going to probably chop them out for another month or two, if not longer, and then break out.
Fair enough. Well, guys, we've been going for an hour 21. I think it's about that time. All right.
About that time.
Tommy, take us out, bro.
All right, guys, let's do this. Hope you guys all have had a great start to your Tuesday. Ideally, we could bring you a little bit of joy, hopium, copium, whatever you needed this morning. Hopefully we brought it for you and did a lot of cooking, made some nice breakfast. But yeah, guys, not just reading the comments. AZTV always cracks me up, man. But let's run through some housekeeping stuff, guys. A reminder that we have launched our new hedge fund, BB Wealth Management. That is a long and short fund, so we are capable of trading both directions, run by the BB team. And as I always say, we operate it in a way that takes into account crypto's historic propensity for upside returns, as well as the investment risk posed in any market. So if becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that might interest you, we do have more details linked in the description below. Just reach out. We can shoot you back an email, hopefully answer any and all of your questions. Like I said, if becoming an accredited investor or LP for the fund is something that interests you, we are super excited that it's finally launched, right? Not just that we can trade it as a team, but also to potentially offer you guys as well this opportunity to be involved. So not to forget the BB Academy, guys. Currently for $4.99. It is at tremendous value, in my opinion. And I'm going to continue to say the biggest reason for that is because we have such a diverse team. We have such a team full of many people who have been crushing this market for many moons now, many full moons, right, Jackus? But now they've been crushing the market, honestly, and we all have very, very different skill sets. So if you want to brush up on your educational base, maybe you want to take your trading to the next level, the BB Academy is perfectly capable of doing all of those things for you. So I could not recommend. I honestly, I think that product is maybe the best. It's up there for the best value that we offer. So make sure to check that out if that is something that interests you, especially as we enter this bull market here over the coming months. Not to forget our programming, Market Check. If you enjoyed Market Check today, guys, if you are a new or old Market Check enjoyer, you know that we are live Monday through Friday on weekdays. The only time we're not live is when the New York Stock Exchange is closed or on days where it's closed, right? Usually we will be live the morning that every New York session is live. So Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is our typical start time. And as you guys can see, we will waffle about pretty much anything, right? Like we'll compare burgers to trading. We will attack open interest traders. We will attack the comment section sometimes too, but we always have a lot of fun. And I assume that's why you guys keep coming back, because you're having fun too. But don't forget about Market Talk as well. That's our flagship show, a Twitter space hosted by the legendary King Wabi. He always does a great job hosting that show. You know, it usually takes on very much a flavor of who the hosts are. So maybe you want to binge in some macro, maybe you want to binge in some more meme coin talk. Tune in for those spaces in the afternoon and you will be able to get that. But that's it from us, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday and, of course, the rest of your week. And one last reminder that we'll be back tomorrow morning. But thanks again, guys.